I'm a guy that's 24. Each day I build some more. I like episode 7 and episode 8. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back in with another video, and before I get into today's topic, I do want to say that I know there are far more important things in the world going on right now than me complaining about LEGO Star Wars sets, so I just want to say I hope that all of you out there are alright and taking whatever precautions you need to be safe with this coronavirus that's going around. But other than that, let's get into the meat of today's topic, and that is this April 2020 LEGO Star Wars wave. I think it's pretty much confirmed right now that this is like the worst wave ever, and that's not even hyperbole. Like, I actually mean that. Any LEGO Star Wars wave that just straight up doesn't have any playsets, I think absolutely belongs in the conversation to be considered one of the worst ever. Now, before I really go ham on how I feel about this, I do want to talk about just like what we're getting in the wave in general. Like, the helmet builds, they aren't awful, they aren't bad looking builds by any means, but they certainly aren't LEGO sets in the traditional sense of them actually being play sets and like with minifigs and, you know, a ship build or a location. They're not any of those things. And while I'm not gonna really get angry with LEGO for trying new things like this, I think that whenever they do venture outside of doing things like playsets, they should be done in conjunction with playsets. At the end of the day, playsets are what captures the essence of LEGO Star Wars, and that I think should be the #1 priority for every group of sets they release. So to get a group of sets where none of them are playsets, I think is just kind of ridiculous. I did a video on this not too long ago, I think like a month ago, titled "The April 2020 LEGO Star Wars Wave is Very Problematic," and at that time we didn't know exactly what was going to be in the wave, but Childish Landino on Instagram has pretty much confirmed that this wave is going to be exclusively helmets and the Dio build. I know a lot of people were commenting on that first video I did saying, oh, we're gonna get the Clone Wars sets, there's a Grievous Starfighter that leaked that we're probably going to see in that wave, and I actually mentioned in that video that those Clone Wars sets are actually being saved for the August wave, but I think this just further makes it concrete that yeah, we're not gonna get any play sets for this wave. And this feels kind of weird, right? Being a grown man complaining about not getting playsets, but like I said earlier, when it comes to LEGO Star Wars, like, they can try those other things like the contraction figures, brick heads, all those weird other side projects they try to throw in to, I guess, give some variety to their line of LEGO Star Wars products. But at the end of the day, there just should be playsets. Like, there's really no way around that. And I'm not trying to say this is like the end of the world. Like, this is just one wave out of a year where we're getting 3 different LEGO Star Wars sets, but it certainly doesn't set a good precedent in my opinion. Like, if LEGO's willing to just release an entire line of what's essentially a gimmick, right? Like, these are all gimmicky LEGO sets. These aren't things that will honestly stay around for any length of time. It seems whenever LEGO tries anything like this with Star Wars, and we've seen this so many times, right? Like with the contraction figures, they don't end up staying around very long. But to get just an entire wave of just this, is just so lame in my opinion. One of the biggest criticisms that LEGO tends to get with Star Wars sets nowadays are the abundance of remakes. You know, people want new stuff. They're tired of getting the same old thing over and over again. But I'll take a remake 10 times out of 10 than getting a line of gimmicky helmet builds and a larger build of a droid that no one really cares about. I'm sorry, I said it. BB-8 was a cool droid and made for a cool set. Same with R2-D2. Dio, not so much. But I really just wanted to release this video to give maybe a little bit more clarity to that original April 2020 video that I released. Now we know almost for certain that this entire wave is just going to be helmets and a big Dio build. And like I said, like the title of the video says, I think this definitely puts this in contention for one of the worst LEGO Star Wars waves, if not the worst LEGO Star Wars wave ever. Not for set content, because like I said, none of these sets look awful, but there just should be play sets. There just should be. Like, you just can't get around that. So the question I'd like to leave you guys with, last time I asked you guys How do you feel about getting a wave of just helmet builds and no actual play sets? And I was surprised to see how many of you were actually kind of okay with that. So with that being said, I would like to know, what do you guys think are some of the worst LEGO Star Wars waves? If you're not too familiar with just like waves of sets, you can go on brickset.com, go through the years, check out some of the sets, and they'll actually tell you the dates that they were released for, so you can get an idea for it. But I'd love to know, like, what do you guys think are some of the worst LEGO Star Wars waves that were released? I think that this one has to be up there. Like, I can't think of an entire wave of LEGO Star Wars sets that has offended me quite as much as this has. So that's gonna finish up the video, guys. If you like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.